it's me. I'm just sorting out my stamps because I forgot to put the labels on. Happy day. Let me just check that I am live. Always a plan. Looks like I've got a new email. Marvellous. Just double check. No, not Instagram. I'm not in Instagram, so let's not do that. So, how are you today? It's sunny here. It's not very warm, but it's sunny. Bum, bum, bum. Pum, pum, pum. Beverly is here. Hello, Beverly. How are you today? Just checking that everything is doing what it's meant to do. That's not what I wanted. Hey ho. Anyway, how are you? I am just about getting my head back around to being here, not on the open seas or ocean waves or whatever it is. Hello, Lorna. I hope you had a good lunch with Tom. I am in the throes of sorting out the late team birthday cards. Eek. I'm sorry. But, you know, things happened. So I am using the Masterfully Made suite today, which is on pages 102 and 103 of your new annual catalogue. Do remember, if you don't have an annual catalogue, I am very happy to send you one. I do ask for a donation towards the postage, and that's all. Hello, Sam from sunny Somerset. How are you? First time you've caught me live. Yay! How are you? Was my trip good? Beverly, if I said my trip was good, I would be lying. It was marvellous. I've got to do the whole disclaimer bit. I'm sorry, but I have. Fewer than 1% of demonstrators earn the incentive trip, and it takes a lot of hard work and dedication. I mean, it does. Seriously. There were 308 of us on the trip, and I think 380 earned the trip. Some people cashed it out. But it was amazing. Bearing in mind that last year I got the trip in a box, which isn't quite the same, really. This year was just, it blew my mind. We had reasonable weather. I'm not going to say it was great. It did rain a little, but it was Norway in May, so I don't know what anyone was expecting. I knew what I was expecting. We had one day where we couldn't actually dock because it was so windy, so we had to cancel one port, but that was fine. It was the port where I was going to go and buy my husband some Norwegian chocolate with Norwegian brown cheese in it, which is supposed to be a thing in this particular port, and I thought it would be amusing. Obviously I can't eat chocolate, so I wouldn't have to eat it, but other than that, hey, there was one night which was very lumpy. I mean, seriously lumpy. And I slept the whole way through. My poor friend who was with me spent the night trying to stop the shower door banging, the clothes clattering in the wardrobe where they were hanging on hangers and bashing. Apparently, as we turned into the fjord at 3 o'clock in the morning, things calmed down. And my Fitbit would agree with that because it thinks I slept from 3 minutes past 3 that particular night. I actually got to sleep about 10:30, slept for over 8.5 hours, which for me is unheard of. So, you know, oh, bless you, Beverly. Yeah, I have to say, it was tough. And this year I'm looking at my tracker for Mexico, and it's going to be an interesting few months if I'm going to get to Mexico. Let's just leave it at that. It's going to be a stretch. However, I am pretty determined to get there. So somehow or another, I said last year that if I had to buy a lifetime supply of envelopes, I would. So, you know, there's still that thought. I haven't got a lifetime supply of envelopes. Sorry, my mat seems to have moved. I don't have a lifetime supply of envelopes, so, you know, there is always that option. A lifetime supply of envelopes will always be good. Anyway, let's flip the camera down and see what I'm up to. Answer, not very much. Right, okay, so our things are more or less where they should be, even though I've moved the mat a bit. So I'm using Gorgeously Made. I am still sticking the stickers on. So I am going to finish because there aren't actually, I've only got 4 more stickers to do. And I think actually it's sometimes a good thing for people to see how to do it. Now there are different ways. I like to do it from the sticker sheet. Some people like to take the sticker to a block and then pick the stamp up that way. I like to do it this way. Hello, Jan. Where are you? Are you in sunny Weekly or sunny Cornwall? Jan is one of my team. The starter kit offer. I'm sorry, but seriously? £154, or is it 205 euros? It's whatever it is, it's ridiculous. And it coincides with the Designer Series paper sale, which might be why I'm using Designer Series paper today. It's not actually, it's purely coincidental. But seriously, there is an amazing joining offer that is added value, so you get to put extras in your starter kit. So it's called the Starter Kit Plus. And yeah, why wouldn't you? It's a no-brainer, frankly. Ooh, that's offset. Let me see if I can pop it where it actually is rather than where it thinks it might be. That might be about right. So do take a look if you're thinking about joining Stamping Up. Sunny Weekly, excellent. It was a bit of a miserable morning, I have to say, but it's not too bad now. I've had to pull my blind over, my Velux blind over. So yes, it's an amazing offer, and probably the last one we have this year. I don't know, I'm guessing. I would think the next one will not be until Celebration, but I don't know. So DSP sale, 15% off both annual catalogue and online exclusive paper, including the one that I'm using today, which is the Masterfully Made, which is one of those ones that I think people are frightened of. Let me pull the other light on because that's a bit better. So I've got a sort of share of it here. I'm going to be using, it's very bright. Let it be said, it is very bright. And that, I think, is what is scary for people. So this is that classic we've now got into the habit of, where we've got panels that you can just cut into cards. So this would be here as well. And then the back is all this torn paper. And of course, we've got the white core paper this year, which would work really well with this, but I'm not using it. There's this one, which I really, really love, with this on the back. This with this on the back. This with this on the back. And then the ones that I haven't shown you are... Now, this one is scary. I admit it's scary. This is one to use in limited amounts. Hello, Karen. With this on the back, we've seen the other bit of that. We've seen the other bit of that. We've seen the other bit of that. This is kind of a mountain and forest made out of paper. So those are the patterns. They are, as I say, a little scary because they are very bright. Let me read the colours. So we've got Azure Afternoon, Berry Burst, Crushed Curry, Fresh Freesia, Lemon Lime Twist, Lemon Lolly, Lost Lagoon, Melon Mambo, Night of Navy, Pretty Peacock, Pumpkin Pie and Sweet Sorbet. That's interesting because I think there is also Bubble Bath. Now that's Bubble Bath. Oh, it's Fresh Freesia. Right, so I need to swap my Bubble Bath for Fresh Freesia. I was going to use Bubble Bath. It's not Bubble Bath, it's Fresh Freesia. Fortunately, I have organised my cardstock following the change because Bubble Bath, because there was an enormous change. I mean, a scary change. I've actually gone alphabetical, which does make it a little bit easier. Yes, that's better. Does make it a little bit easier to find things. So I've gone rainbow for my ink pads. and alphabetical for my card. I know, a bit weird, what? So I'm going to use fresh freesia and Azure Afternoon as a minimum. I may be able to make 3 cards. I haven't quite got my head around it yet, but I may be able to. So the first one is going to be using this paper with this paper. So let's get rid of those. So I'm going to go fresh freesia to begin with. So I'm going to cut a piece of this as my background, and I'm going to use a bit of this, but not a huge amount. Hello, Elfie, from Canada. The DSP is gorgeous, and Bubble Bath is also amazing. Even if it's not actually Bubble Bath that I'm using, it's fresh freesia because I got it wrong. Right, so, so normally, no, it's got to go that way really, hasn't it? So I'm going to cut this at my usual first, or am I? Oh, decisions, yes I am. So I'm going to cut it at my usual first matte size, or first layer size, and I'm going to cut the long way first, so I've got this left. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, that way. So this is spare. So this is the front of my card. It's going to go on to, hello Shaz, it's going to go on to here. And I am going to use some of this, but I'm going to use some of this having die cut it. So I am going to grab the dies, because I haven't shown you the dies, I haven't shown you the stamps either. So the stamps, we've got this interesting kind of line. You're a great friend, thank you and hello. This is just random words that aren't all there. And then 2 bits of foliage. The dies are this wonderful notepad thing. Hello, Anne from County Down. How are you? We've got a label. We've got this torn piece and 2 foliage pieces. So I'm going to start with this one. If I can get it off. Yes, I can. I have not used this at all yet. Just saying. Right, so I want a bit of this, but I don't want masses. But what I want to work out is kind of where to cut it so that it's a reasonable size piece. Where's my trimmer? Oh, my trimmer. Where's my trimmer, I ask myself. I'm leaning on it is the answer to that one. So if I cut it on that line, that should be about right. So I'll cut it on about that line, because this has got columns. So this is going to be the piece that I die cut. I don't want it to be huge, but I want it to look as if I've ripped it out of a notepad. I think I'm going to go to about there. Ooh, and if I rip it out of the notepad, I can use that. Marvellous. So I'm going to use the rip and the notepad bit, which means I'm going to use my large cut and emboss, because I'm going to do it in one. Oh, Shaz, you're wonderful. Thumbs up, done. Thumbs up are always, always, always appreciated. Right, okay, so I've got my piece. I need to make sure that the words are at the right end. So this end, I want to line this up so that it cuts at a sensible point. That's probably a sensible point. So I'm going to grab a piece of sticky and stick that on. And then my ripped piece, frankly, can go anywhere, because that's rather the point. I think I'll go there. So let me, now I mentioned this on, what's today, Tuesday. Thank you, Lorna. I mentioned this on Tuesday, but I am going to start a series on card making basics or an introduction to card making, something original along those lines, because I think there are quite a few people who would like to but don't know how to. So we had a whole chat about whether, ooh, you can use both bits, marvellous, because they are actually, ooh, can you? Of course you can, because it's a die. There are moments when I do worry about my own brain or lack thereof. So yeah, I think there are, we had a whole, shall I start that sentence again? We had a whole chat about whether kits were a good idea or a bad idea. And I think live we decided that they have their place. And hello Claire. And I think we all agreed on that. Now some of the comments weren't quite so in agreement about that, and that's not to say they were wrong, and it's not to say that, I'm sorry, I don't like that bit. I'm going to rip it from both sides. Everyone has their own opinion. It's perfectly all right. I do like kits for certain things. I mean, I'm not a great kit person, other than the kits that I do myself, because I like those. That's not, I think I'll start this whole thing in my brain again. Anyway, so yes, I will be doing an introduction to stamping and card making. Not quite sure when I'm going to start yet, other than soon. So that's going to go there. I do want to use this. So I'm going to grab it, and I think I'm going to use it on, ooh, I need a G block. I need an I block. Even. I'm going to use it on Fresh Freesia. It's just what I'm going to use Fresh Freesia on Fresh Freesia, which may or may not work. I've got a rather tatty looking piece of Fresh Freesia there, so let's grab Fresh Freesia. Fresh Freesia. So yes, that is the plan. That's the plan, Stan. Yep, that will go right the way across the middle of the card and off the sides. So I'm going to sneeze. Just saying. Just warning you, I am about to sneeze. Oh, that's rather pretty. I like that. I also like the fact that you don't have to stamp it terribly well. Doesn't matter if it's not perfectly stamped, because it doesn't matter if it's not perfectly stamped. Right, so I'm just going to trim this down. That's not straight. Should we try getting that straighter? That's better. It's betterer. Not brilliant, but it's better. Snips, buried, status quo. That's better. So that's 1/2 inch. Might need to be slightly under 1/2 inch. Oh, we've got an excuse to make a cake tomorrow. We've got people coming around for coffee. I've been requested a cup of, I've been requested a Victoria sandwich cake. So that is what we're going to have. Right, so that's going to go across there. This is going to go over the top of it. And I am going to do some die cutting with, now what colours did I say I could choose from? I'm going to go Night of Navy. And actually I'm going to use the other die, not the one I just got out. And I am going to end up using all of the dies, so I might as well just get them all out. There we go. That'll be all the dies. So we've got a team event coming up at the end of the month, and it's with my upline. I know Victoria's sandwich cake is yummy. Buttercream and raspberry jam is the request. So yes, we have a team event in Birmingham later in the month, and I think there are going to be 5 of my team, our team there, which will be fun. And we're one of the 35 for 35, which, if you are a demonstrator, you will understand what that means, and if you're not, you'll be going, what on earth is that woman talking about? You may be doing that anyway. That's not a terribly useful size. That's a better size. So yes, we're a 35 for 35, so we will be getting a visitor from the Home Office, very special visitor from the Home Office at the event. But it means that because my team don't all live locally, it gives us an opportunity to meet up in person, which is lovely. So yeah, that'll be fun. So I'm doing this on my mini cut and emboss because it will go through. So pop that in, wind. And we've got all sorts of exciting things planned. There's a treasure hunt. We're going out for a meal. I'm going to need to die cut that again. Sometimes these bigger dies, particularly on the smaller machine, do need 2 goes through. Hello, Barbara. That paper is very unusual and at first you don't like it, but it grows on you. Not all of us are local. Absolutely, Barbara. You're not at all local. You are in Germany. So Barbara is one of my team. She's actually American, but she lives in Germany and has for most of her life. And Lorna is also one of my team, as is Jan. And yeah, we are all going, and a couple of others. So that will be fun. Right, okay, so let's get this out. Now this is one of those dies that actually you don't have to get all the little pieces out of, because they're not meant to all come out. They're meant to just be embossy pieces. So, I mean, there are bits that obviously I've got to get out, these little bits, for example. But most of the bits that you think you have to get out, you don't. So I'll show you this once we're done. But Barbara, you are so right with this paper. It's very unusual. It is, some of it you do have to use, I think, in moderation. And possibly tone down a little. But there's, I always say that as long as you like one side of a piece of paper, your quid's in. So yes, Lorna, Barbara and Jan are part of my team and are all coming to Birmingham. Yay! So I'm getting there on the Friday, sort of mid-afternoon, because I'm helping to set up. But yeah. Right, so this is going to go here. Then this is going to go on top of it, and then that's going to go across the middle there, and then we're going to have the sentiment. So let's start building. Put all my dies to one side. So, seal. Let's find the end. So this is the first piece to go down. Let's get it central. There we go. Now this is going to be trapped behind stuff, so I'm not too worried if it's a bit all over the place, as in not stuck everywhere. If you're worried, you can put the adhesive sheet on the back. But as I say, this is going to have stuff popped on top of it, which will help trap it. So I'm just going to add little bits of glue kind of where I scribble and find them. So we all make swaps for our big event, I think there's 35 people going, maybe more. Anyway, so I've started those because I know things are going to suddenly catch up with me, and it'll be the day before and I'll go, no swaps. So I have actually planned more or less what I'm doing. I've started them. There is quite a lot still to do, but it'll be fine. So that's going there. Like that. Then we're going to pop this across the middle and I'm going to trim it to length. So let's just use seal. Now I want this to be straight. So this grid paper, which is the new 23-25 in colour paper, has inches on one side, so inches here and centimetres here. I'm just using it as grid paper, as in it's got lines on, although I am an inches girl. Now, if anyone is interested in the swaps that I got while I was on the trip, I did a very quick video last Saturday. I'm doing a... Hello, Hatton. No, Hattori. Sorry, that's my eyes. I did a video last Saturday. I've just changed the design because I've realised if I do that, most of it's covered up. So this is going to go over here instead. Just with a quick overview. And on this Saturday, I've got kind of the whole thing. So I'm actually taking them out of the wrappers and talking about them a bit more. So that's already loaded and ready to go. It's almost like I've come back revitalised. I have actually come back revitalised. I was having a few health issues before I went away, and they're getting better, which is marvellous. I mean, nothing serious, don't get me wrong. It's nothing earth-shatteringly serious, just annoying things. Right, I'm going to pop little bits of dimensional behind the squares. So the notepad torn out bit. Oops. If it wants to stick, that would be marvellous. There we go. So anyone in the UK who wants a paper share, I've relaunched my sweet paper share, which is the one with the papers from the sweets in it even, and I've taken into account the discount, and I think from memory it's on my newsletter. If you're not on my newsletter and you want the information, it is linked on my website. From memory, it's £25 for a quarter share, and that means you get from 12 by 12 you get a 12 by 6 piece. You've just dropped the phone and timed out Lorna. Okay, well, that's fine. She'll come back. Don't worry. Shaz, bless her, is my moderator. And because we have had some problems with unwanted visitors, shall we say. So hopefully Lorna will come back. If anyone on the team wants to drop her a note and just let her know that it was an accident, that would be helpful, I think. There we go. So sentiment, I'm going to use the thing. I'm going to use thank you. So I'm going to use white, and I'm going to stick with fresh freesia, because why not? Sam loves the sweet. It is gorgeous. As I say, I think some of the papers do need to be used in moderation. But that wasn't stamped terribly straight, never mind. Fortunately, I've got to die cut it, so that's fine. Now I'm going to die cut it twice, as in I'm going to cut it down, because I don't want the whole, I don't want that large piece, I want just the thank you. I found some more dimensionals tucked away somewhere, so I put them where I store my dimensionals that I'm about to use, and they're now falling all over the place, which is less than helpful, but there we go. So if you see dimensionals creeping onto the desk, she's back! She didn't mean it, Shaz, Lorna. Shaz dropped her phone. And, you know, life happens. But she's back. You're very welcome to be back. So, didn't miss much. I did tell you I was going to cough. This is still the leftover from when I've had COVID 3 times. Sadly, a couple of people on the cruise did come down with COVID, either during it or after. But, you know, life happens. Frankly, given a choice of COVID or the cold I had this year, I'll take COVID, because my cold was horrible. Right, so that's my cut down sentiment. Let's get rid of those bits. I must empty that bin, which is now overflowing. So this I'm going to stick on there. So most of it's going to be stuck, as in with, not that, the other one, where did I put it there? Most of it's just going to be stuck, and then I'm going to put one dimensional on to lift up the end. And we've also got I want to say sequins. There we go, that's that. You've not had COVID yet, Lorna. There are a few people who haven't. So these are the sequins that go with the suite. The friend who came with me on the trip hasn't had COVID yet either. As I say, I've had it 3 times. It's not fair. Anyway, I'm here to tell the tale, so it's fine. I'm going to go with whatever this green is. Oh no, it's not. It's Pretty Peacock. So I'm going to just... I like my triangles, but I also like tucking things in underneath so that they, in inverted commas, touch more than one piece. So this one touches the sentiment, the strip, and the die cut. This one touches this strip, this piece, and this piece. It's just kind of what I like to do with them. And that one is going to equally touch 3 bits. So that is our first card. I have to say, the 3rd time I had COVID, I just felt a bit meh. And only because I had some spare leftover test kits, tested myself, and I had COVID. But I didn't actually feel that bad. Right, okay, 1 card down, 1 to go. So this is the one we've just done. Just having a bit of fun with all the papers. So this time I'm using this paper and a bit of this paper. Wish me luck. Right, this needs to be cut down to size and scored so that it's half a sheet. At the moment it is more than half a sheet. So I'm going to cut at 10.5 centimetres and score at 14.9, and then that makes a nice half fold. Alternatively, you can cut it at 14.9 and then score it at 10. You end up with the same card. Now I was just thinking, oh, and I know what I was thinking. So I am going to be doing liners. I know. Where has Liz gone? I will do the liners in a bit. No, I want that. So this time I'm using this pattern, which is quite bright. I'm thinking I might actually cover the whole front. So I'm going to cut this at 14.9. Well, actually I'm going to cut it at about 15. And at 10.5. Because I want to emboss it, and I want a little bit of this, but not much, because this is very loud. And again, I'm going to use that same technique of the die cut top and bottom, so where the words are. That was really, thank you, Lorna. So I want an embossing folder. I know which one I want. I've just got to find it. No. Yes. So this is the new one with the bricks and the words. Well, bricks and splodges, really, not words. I don't think it matters which way up you do it, whether you have it with the grout pulling out or pushing in. I'm going to have the grout going in, so I'm going to write through like that. So large cut and emboss. Base plate, dark grey plate. So base plate and plate 4, which is the grey, the dark grey. Tum-ti-tum-ti-tum-ti-tum. And as I already have this out, I will do my die cutting on it as well. So this is the, don't know if you're going to be able to see that. Can you see it on the other side? Not really. Oh well, you'll have to trust me that it looks lovely. And then don't need that. Do need these. So again, I want the top and the bottom to go on my thing. I'm going to learn from my mistake of last time and stick this in a better position, like there. Is that, yep. So that's the top, and I don't want, that would have been the top if it had actually stuck. Come along. Right, so it's going, oh, they're not all the same. I hadn't realised that. I'd obviously chosen a bit that was all the same. Okay, let's choose a bit that's definitely not the same then. Which will be there. Okay, let's try and stick this time. Stick! Stick! And there. The joy of this bottom one is it really doesn't matter where it goes. Let's just straighten that a little bit, because my die was sticking out at an alarming angle. Okay, so that goes there, that peels off like that, so that's the top, that's the bottom, that's the spare bit, don't need that. And while I'm here, now, I can't decide which colour to go for on my foliage, and no one says that foliage has to be green. Just warning you about that, because I think it's not going to be. I'm going to go Melon Mambo. Melon Mambo. I have masses of Melon Mambo. For some reason I thought I was running short. I'm not running short. Right, so there should be a die. Oh, the one I've just picked up. Right, let's just whiz that through. You're being terribly quiet. Right, that's away. That away. Put my Melon Mambo away. Okay, so, and again, not all of these pieces need to come out. Some of them are partial cuts. So they're there for texture rather than anything else. And again, if you're worried about sticking it down, then your friend is the adhesive sheet. Oh, I was at the gym this morning, and so that's going to go there. Perfect. So yes, I was at the gym this morning, and we're about to change up how we do our gym sessions. I am terrified. They're going to be completely different. So at the moment we do high intensity training. So you're doing what it says on the tin, really. Lots, well, I say lots, short bursts of high intensity training at intervals. So high intensity interval training, HIIT training. Now I'm putting the adhesive onto the card rather than the paper because I've just embossed this. Hello, Kay! Not a good day. Random dog got in onto our property. Oh no! Killed your pet duck! Oh, Shaz! That's bad. So yes, we're not doing that in June. We're doing something different. And we were all saying, didn't like, you know, some of the exercises we did this morning, and then we kind of decided that we'd probably be wanting to do them next week when we aren't. So it seems to be more about building muscle, which by definition then burns fat. So that's going to go there. Oh, I like that. Where's my bit? There's my bit. That's going to come, I think that's going to go there, up, and then we'll have the sentiment somewhere. Right, so let's stick this down first. I bet you did, Shaz. The friend that I went to Norway with has pet ducks. She has 4 of them, and she has over the years lost, oops, that's a bit that needs to come out. She has lost a couple of ducks. I don't think she's ever had one killed. One got ill, I think it was egg bound. But yeah, they're so cute. Great for keeping snails out of the garden. I do wonder if we need them. Something is eating my strawberries. And that's in addition to my husband, who is eating my, well, they're his strawberries really. But yeah. Right. That's what an ink pad's for. Okay, I'm not going to bother putting bits at the end this time. Life seriously can be too short sometimes. And I think that's enough bits of dimensional. Then I have got the liners to do, because I am going to do the liners. Right, okay, what have we got? You're a Great Friend will do nicely. Pick a block, any block. Right, Melon Mambo. We don't have any Melon Mambo ribbon, so we're saved from that. Same piece of card that I used before. Not sure I've got the sticker on terribly straight, but it'll be fine because we're going to die cut it anyway. Oh, okay, that'll do. And this is kind of the sentiment for which the die was made. I mean, obviously it was made for all of them, but the length is for this one. I am going to stick this down. Actually, I'm going to turn that plate over because that plate is bowing. So if you find that the plate starts getting lumpy up, turn it over and it will help flatten it down. So who has already put in an order for DSP because the sale's on? Anyone? I know someone in the team has ordered. I don't know who, because at the moment I can't see who, because for the first few days of each month you can't see that information. I do kind of run a little competition in my head as to who it might be that places an early order. I'm going to go all the way down there. Kay has. I'm waiting. I will be, but I am waiting because I want the new bits for the Take Your Pick. And they're not in until the 12th of June. So I'm waiting until the 12th of June and then I'm going to order. So there we are. Right. Sparkly bits. Where did I put them away? Which is always a bad move, really, isn't it? Because that means I've got to find them again. Yes, I think I put them away. No, I didn't put them away, which is why I can't find them. Right. I'm going to use the pink. I don't know what colour the pink claims to be. Probably Fresh Freesia. I don't know. But I'm going to use the pink. And again, I'm going to do 3, although I think it's going to be there. And there. So that's that. Now, inside, because I am going to do the inside. So those are our 2 cards. I'm going to grab a piece of very tatty looking mini paper, which is no longer available. Just saying. And I'm going to grab that funny, kind of wordy but not wordy stamp. I think it's made for the inside. It's also made for backgrounds. So I'm going to use Fresh Freesia first. And then I'm just going to stamp that. and use a Mellow. Thank you, Kay. You missed the beginning, but I was saying that I think this is a paper that frightens people because it is very bright. So pop that there, and right, that one goes on that. I'm gonna do the Fresh Freesia one first because that's still a little bit tacky. So now, as a general rule, I wouldn't stick a liner in a card until I've written it. My handwriting is, shall we say, appalling. My brain, as those of you who were here at the beginning will have witnessed, is sometimes a little sporadic. That's not straight, but never mind. So I don't often put a liner in a card, so that when I write a card, I write the liner and then stick it in, and then if it goes wrong, I can just get a new liner and nobody would know. So those are those. I'm just going to be inspired to make another card. Let me see what colour I'm inspired to do it. Lost Lagoon. Where are you, Lost Lagoon? There you are. I've decided I love Lost Lagoon. Just saying. Need a new piece. Ooh. Got to open a new packet of Lost Lagoon. I mean, how gorgeous is this card? Just saying, it's the most amazing colour. It's sort of like soft succulent, but so much nicer. Not that I didn't like soft succulent, because I did, but this is just gorgeous. Right, so I'm going to pop those to one side. You didn't order this one! Oh no! But it's gorgeous! So I'm going to score at 14.9, cut at 10.5. For those of you watching in North America, that would be scoring at 5.5 and cutting at 8.25, because your card is a different size to ours. Now I need that piece of paper back, and I also need Lost Lagoon as an ink pad. I need to clean that stamp. I have already sprayed my scrub. I am going to fold it so I know which the front is. Okay. And I like to have my card flat when I do this, so I'm going to stick some, this is just some washi tape, well, low tack tape. I'm going to leave it on the roll because it's going to get used again. She didn't order this paper. I don't know. That wasn't straight. Why would it be straight? It's me. Right, this is where I'm then going to come back in with stamped off ink and just fill in some of those gaps. But what you do not want to do is go over the edge and then come to the middle, because you'll find that some of it hasn't been stamped off. Did that make sense? I'll try and show you what I mean in a moment. Right, so that'll do. No, that'll do. So I've got this piece of Berry Burst just lying around. If I stamp on that and then stamp on here, don't know if you can see, but this middle bit is fainter than the two bits either side because the card acted as a lift, which meant that the ink didn't actually hit the paper behind it. Did any of that make sense? So if you're doing this, do make sure that when you stamp off, you stamp on something flat. So we have a background. This I'm just going to pull off and use again. It's on your list to buy, is it, Anne? I have to say, I do like it. It is one of those things that I think has to grow on you. Okay, so let's grab that. Straighten my pad out a bit. Right, I'm going to do basically die cuts, and I'm going to do them in white. So this is going to be white on Lagoon, but with a bit of something just to lift it. And I'm just having a look at what bits I've got lying around as little... Oh, did we? Yes, we did use that. That piece. So I'm going to do the same thing with the Hoofa Doofa, but I am going to, it's going to be bigger, and I am going to do the rest of it in white. As I said, I don't need to say it twice, I've said it already. Right, okay, so this is the, if you really don't particularly want all the brightness version. So that's that piece. Let's go this way this time. There's only 3 patterns you could cope with. Oops. Have I used those 3 patterns or have I used something else? And as I said, if you find that there is at least 1 pattern on each side that you like, 1 pattern on each side, 1 side of each piece of paper that you like, then it's worth getting it. Otherwise it's not worth getting it. Hello, Roberta from Notre Dame in Canada, New Brunswick, NB, New Brunswick. I'm hoping. Right. Oh, actually, because I'm doing it all in white. Ooh, shall I use vellum? I'm going to use vellum. I haven't used vellum for a while. So let's use vellum. Right, okay. I'm just going to cut this down. I mean, just trust that I'm cutting a piece of vellum. It's just, you know, having got my cut and emboss onto the table, I'm loath to move it just so that I can cut a piece of vellum on camera. Let's just pretend that it was the right size. Okay, now, of course, the thing with vellum is you cannot, well, you can, it's not so easy to do the whole glue thing, so I'm going to have to be a little bit careful about how I adhere this, but we have got that label to cover a multitude of sins. Ooh, yes you have, Liz. Now what did I say? That's for which the answer is yes, you have. Oh, use the papers that you like. Okay, good. Except perhaps I should be using the papers you don't like to have convinced you that it's a nice pack of paper. Right, okay. Might have to run that one through again, which I will do with my small emboss. Vellum can be a little bit tricky to die cut when it's a very, very fiddly pattern. So the key to this is to move it around until it kind of settles. There we are. It has settled into the bits, settled into the cracks. No, it's moved. Come on. That feels fairly solid. Might just have been quicker to die cut another piece, of course. Come on, up you come. Right. Still not totally convinced it wants to come out. No, it's going to have to. I'm going to die cut it again because we'll be here all night otherwise. This was meant to be the quick card. Okay, so I'm just going to cut round a piece of vellum with my snips, if I can find my snips. There they are. As I say, sometimes vellum can be a little tricky. So I'm not that surprised. What I am going to do is, I wasn't planning on getting this bundle, but now I have to. Oh, excellent. You were going to just get the DSP. The bundle is lovely. I love anything that does the piece of note paper. My absolute favourites are dies that do that. Right, I'm going to cut it once this way up, well, twice this way up, and once the other way up. So I'm going to flip it over and do that again. I think Amazon has just arrived. I'm going to ignore it. That's better. Right. This is a very solid die and they can be interesting, so doing it on vellum doesn't exactly help the shining hour. Still not convinced it's cut. I think using paper would have been a better idea. Okay, I'm going to leave that one for now because otherwise we will be here all day. We saw that it die cut all right in card. It's just vellum is a bit different. So it's the vellum, not the die, if that makes sense. Right, okay, don't want that bit. Right, there's our card. There's our vellum. There's our that piece. I think I'm going to stick that to my note paper piece, so it's going to lift off the card. So I'm sticking my dimensionals over the vellum as well as the paper. That's the word I was looking for. Like that. So this is just going to be loose. That's going there. Ooh. Ooh. No. I was thinking of heat embossing my sentiment, but I think that might not be a clever idea. Right, so I'm just going to go for the little hello. So I need a little block. Lost Lagoon on white. And I am going to die cut it again. So snips. And then we will be done, apart from using the sequins, which I will be using the sequins. No, it needs to go the other way up. So if it bounces, you need to turn it over. Actually, I'm going to turn the whole thing over. So it's going to have the same rip, as it were, at both ends. Now I can see through my card, so I can see where the end is. Static electricity is a great thing. Don't necessarily want it during your YouTube live, however. Some young things attaching themselves to your cutting plates. Right, cutting plate. Or not detaching themselves from your cutting plate. Hockey cocky. Right, so this is just going to go here with just a little bit hanging over the edge, so I'm just going to get a little dimensional there, and that, take the backing off my dimensional, hello. Where did I put my sequins? I think I did put them away this time. Yep. So I'm going to use the sequins that we haven't yet used, which are the white ones. White as a, you know, they're not really any colour. And I can use one of them to help stick down my vellum. And another one to help stick down my vellum. So no paper at all. Well, that paper, I lied. So those are our 3 cards. So I hope you enjoyed those. Phew. I will, of course, go and finish die cutting that vellum. So if you enjoyed it, a thumbs up is always appreciated. Let me just flip the camera back up. Hello, it's me again. So yes, if you've enjoyed it, a thumbs up is appreciated. If it's your first time viewing and you would like to see more madness, along with some creativity, then click the subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner and you will get to be, well, if you hit the alert bell, you will get to know when I go live next. I've got the recording on Saturday of the slow walk through all of the swaps that I got from Norway. Second is your favourite, which was this one, because they were actually that way in reverse order. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Anne. That is the perfect die to pair with the shop bundle and make a card for a teacher along with delightfully eclectic DSP. Well, there you go, Elfie. Thank you, Mary. So yes, if you don't already subscribe, do click that subscribe button, hit the alert bell, and you'll know when I go live. Recording on Saturday, live next Tuesday, and I will start my new Stampers series very soon. Those are the 3 patterns I like. Thank you for sharing your cards there, lovely. Oh, thank you, Kay. Right, thank you very much indeed. I will see you again very soon. Keep safe, keep well, and until then, bye for now.